will, teach you like how we can bridge the gap in technology. Like a lot of people don't have access to it and how we can bridge that gap. Um, Divyesh, will you be able to share your screen?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
So shall we start with it?
Yes, yes, we can start with it now.
Okay, just a minute. So basically, before even like sharing my screen, I would want to introduce myself. So my name is Divyesh, and I have been into the professional field of technology, in the professional field of computer science for quite a while now. And one of the major problems which I have seen, even in my journey, was that we want to learn, we want to see, we are curious, we want to see more of technology. However, there seems to be a gap. Like for on the surface, we see a lot of resources on internet. There are courses on YouTube's, there are learning resources, blogs. However, they're not like structured for us. When we have doubts, we don't know where to go to. So I have identified that problem even in my own journey. So I thought that why not make an initiative so that people like you or even more people like us will not run into this problem. So now I want to introduce you all to an initiative. This initiative is something which is really close for me. So it is known as, just a minute, one good answer. Yeah. So what is one good answer? So what we'll be doing is we'll be taking up your questions via a WhatsApp community, or we are going to launch a website very soon. We'll be taking your questions and then we'll be thinking upon it, and then we'll schedule a call. Every week we'll schedule a call and then we'll think about it. We'll discuss about it. We'll debate on that topic. We'll try to understand the depths of what it is going on. What we are going to have is an exploration of technology and complex systems. So let's go into it. Now, as I've just told you all, what we're trying to do is we are trying to bridge the technological understanding gap. Now, we all know that this is an era of technology. It is evolving very fast in our everyday lives. I mean, 20 years ago, who would have thought we are going to have UPI payments, we are going to have GPay, we are going to have Paytm? Or even 10 years back, who was going to think like we are going to have artificial intelligence, which is going to be so good, we are going to have our research conducted by it. So if you look at the rate, the evolution of technology, it has been really good. Even we are able to create short videos for that matter. So if this all is moving so quickly, where do we find ourselves? And one of the most major concern here is the ability to lose our jobs to AI. Like that is a very possible outcome. So in this rat race, where do we find ourselves? Are we trying to really compete here? So let's understand that first. So the core philosophy behind this initiative, which I have, is these three pillars. The first one being one question at a time. I mean, we see that there's a lot of ruckus here. We are trying to sign up to a course, and in that course, there are maybe thousands of questions asked by thousands of students. And even in other communities, we find ourselves our one question, which we thought is important for us, scattered in thousands of questions. So what we are trying to do here is we are going to take one particular question up, and we're going to spend an hour talking on it. So what I want is instead of attempting to answer many questions quickly, how about we create a meaningful answer for just one? We go into the depths of it. We have a structured discussion on it. Structured discussion being our second pillar. Each question we have, we are going to explore the depths of it. We are going to have a collaborative conversation on it. I want you all to debate on it. I want you all to debate with me, with your peers, with your fellows. All in all, what we want is deeper understanding of the concepts, of the misconceptions which we carry with us in this journey. So what it is basically it allows us to develop a deeper understanding of technology rather than just following on some surface level knowledge, which at this point is available on the entire internet. So what it really is, what one good answer really is just a structured discussion on the problem which you have faced. So that you have a community, you have people with you who think alike, who have a mindset just as you, and now you can dive deeper into the era of technology. So let's do an activity. Now, here are given three statements. Let's take up the first one. AI understands what it is writing. So I would like to know how many of you think this statement is true. So how many of you feel that whatever AI writes or generates for us, it is absolutely true? If you're not able to talk, you can react as well.
Yeah, you can send the emojis or you can put it. I think it would be better if you guys talk. I know you all talk. Okay,
Yes, please.
Kushagra, what do you wanna say?
Like, not every time AI is correct, but sometimes it is right, but it doesn't give every time the proper answer which we want, please.
Exactly. So the problem here happens is that AI works on the inputs we give. It has been trained on data which has been given. So many a times, if you ask him a very specific question, if you ask it a very deep question, which is going to have a lots of research behind it, it's going to hallucinate. It's not going to be able to produce really good answer or really accurate answer. So that means we cannot completely trust AI right now. So now that is a myth. So this was a very fundamental, a very basic question. So we can take up questions like this in this initiative. Or now moving forward, the second question can be your smart home devices may still send data even when you are not using them. Now what do you think about this? The second statement. How many of you think that your smart devices which you have at your home, they are able to send information to the servers even though you're not using them? Yes, Sanya?
Yes, I think so. It can send information even if it is not connected.
Okay, what are your thoughts, Sejal?
So earlier, I used to think this was not the case, but I have faced some instances where, in a group we are talking about something, and suddenly I'm getting all sorts of reel and other advertisements on my phone. So, because of which I truly agree to this statement.
Yeah, it absolutely happened with me as well. You know, the other day I was like we were discussing about shoes, and then so all of a sudden I'm getting all ads of shoes. So even I used to think that okay, like it's powered off, right? Its power is switched off. How can it still do it? And I think there's a very well documented a YouTube video even on YouTube, if you can find that. So it also talks about how even Chinese servers get all the data, all the scrapping which they do. So yes, this statement is really very true. Like it is partially true, it is not completely true, but it does happen. Like your smart home devices still send data even if you're not using them. And this has become something which is really common. So that is something you should be aware of. And now comes an advanced statement. So it is that quantum computers can already break all encryption. So firstly, let's not dive so much into advanced topics, but how many of you here know quantum computing is? Anybody who has a slight idea, even a slight idea would work. I mean, I do not expect you all to know it, but if still anyone has curiosity and would have gone through it. Okay, so how many of you know that computers works on bits, zeros and one? Yeah, Sanya, it does solve complex problems. That is right. So, okay, so Danish, you know that computers works on zeros and ones, right? Okay. Now, what a quantum computer is it is in a state which is in both zero and one. Now, that sounds kind of confusing. How can it be in both states, right? But it is what physics says. It is known as quantum physics, and it is a new emerging technology. Like it is still in development stage. It is still yet to come in normal day-to-day life. But what happens is it is speculated that it will be breaking banking encryptions, like the transactions we do, right? GPay, Paytm, the bank transactions which happen over check, RTGS. So what it is predicted is because it has the ability to solve complex problems, as rightly mentioned by Sanya, it might be able to hack into our bank encryptions. However, it is still not the reality. but we are looking for a future forward to it. And that is the reason many countries are still adapting to put a threshold on how much we are progressing in the field of quantum technology. Because if that happens, the whole world economy will obviously collapse. But yeah, it is something which we can look forward into the future. So if like anybody here is interested in what future technology is, so they can have a read about quantum computers. And if you want to know more about it, of course you can question that into the community, which I'll be sharing the link soon. And for the next session, maybe we'll have a discussion on quantum computers. Okay, so let's go through it. Of course, yeah, the AI understands what it is writing is obviously false. And as you all just mentioned that even through one peer's experience that when she's talking about some things with her friends, she gets that advertisements. So yeah, it is partially true. And yeah, in today's world, quantum computers can still not break encryption. However, we can look forward to it. I mean, it is being speculated by many scholars that it might just happen. So now in this initiative, in this which we are looking forward for, the question and answers through one good answer, I think we can focus on three main areas. Any questions which you have regarding artificial intelligence, intelligence systems, or maybe regarding Internet of Things, or just like we've just mentioned, emerging and future computing technologies. These are the three focus areas on which we can take up your questions, questions which you have in your mind, questions which have bothered you into your technological progress. We can take up these questions and then answer them. So now let's go through it one by one. So how many of you here know artificial intelligence or have used it? I'm pretty sure you all have used ChatGPT at least till now. Yeah? Yeah, of course. So I mean, if you have a curious mind, you would have thought that how does artificial intelligence even answer this? How is he able to understand what human language is? Because down to it, it is just metal scrap, right? It is just some silicon. How is it able to understand human language? So this is where curiosity stems. Questions like this is what I'm trying to invite to One Good Answer initiative. When you ask questions like this is what is going to ignite that fire in you, the passion in you for technology. So I'm expecting these type of questions. And now Internet of Things. So how many of you here know Internet of Things or sensors for that matter? Any type of sensor, heat sensor, motion sensor. How many of you know it or at least have an idea about it? Yes, Anya, what sensor do you know about, or maybe what kind of it do you know about?
I know about one of the sensors like Chalo app which we use in bus. It has a sensor to get a ticket online.
Hmm. So right, the sensor in that is a geolocative sensor, right? So what sensors are basically is it is a hardware component on which you put on a layer of software. Basically, you program a hardware component to do a specific thing. A very basic example can be maybe you thought that okay, all night the parking lights are turned on, right? Now we don't need parking lights to be turned on the whole of night. No one is going to take out their car. They're going to rarely take out their cars or bikes at night. I mean, there is still a necessity for light, but you shouldn't keep it on 24/7 if you think about it. So maybe you design a hardware component, a sensor, which detects motion at night. So they detect that, okay, someone is walking up, so we should light it up. We should light our bulb. Now, this is an example of what we call Internet of Things. Now, this is just one example, which is detecting motion and then switching on a light. But when you go more into it, you'll be able to understand that what Internet of Things is. And if you want to know more about it, of course, you can ask the question at One Good Answer. I'll be sharing the community link soon in the chat box. So questions like this are really, really invited, and I look forward to this. Like the first one being, how does ChatGPT work? What is the thought process behind it? How is just some metal scraps being able to turn into computers? And now this one being, how can hardware be connected with software? How do we detect motion? The motion sensor, how does it detect that someone has moved? Or even for that matter, does it have a camera? Or is it some other technology? These are the questions, right? And now thirdly being emerging and future technologies. Now we all know it has been quite many decades that we have been working on computers and laptops, and it is quite true to say that after this, we'll farly see any development or any innovation in laptops and computers. Now, if we see any development, it will be in the fields of research, like we have just mentioned, quantum computing, computational architectures, or even new generation hardware. So, anyone like the people who just profited the most out of AI were people who knew 5 years back that AI is going to be boomed, right? So you can be profitable in the next 5 years, knowing what technologies are going to be booming 5 years later from now. So this is where comes the part of emerging and future computing technologies. Now, some computing technologies, some emerging computing technologies can be maybe crypto, Web3 development, chain development, or we just discussed right now about quantum technologies, right? Now, these become like they are very deep research field, but if you look forward from 5 years from now on, if you start even studying it right now, if you start to gain skills in them right now, if you start asking questions about them right now, try to gain awareness about them, and maybe they intrigue you, maybe they give you that curiosity, that flame which you want, and then you move into that field, into that technological field, then maybe in the next 5 years we might see you as the Sam Altman, right? So what you need to do is you need to invest from now on things which will boom for the next 5 to 10 years. You can't go on with the current trend because we all know that trend once it comes it's going to fall. Even this AI bubble. AI is going to develop until one point of time. After that AI won't be able to develop much more. Then it will take other forms like super intelligence or maybe integrating it with biology. We might see biotechnology boom. Biotechnology is also one upcoming field. It is going to take a lot of innovation in that as well. So like biotechnology, after that comes quantum technologies. These are some emerging techs. Now let me tell you how the platform works. So how it basically works is that you will be submitting your questions, all of you, whatever questions you have in your mind. Maybe you were walking through the street, you saw something, and you thought, okay, how does this work? How about we have a discussion with fellow peers? So you'll submit your questions. It doesn't matter how stupid or how dumb or how advanced they are, because no question is dumb. A question is always a question, and a question which ignites curiosity in you must be answered. And that is the mission which we have at one good answer. And after that, we'll do a selection. Each week, we'll answer just one question for 1 hour straight. And in that, what I want is a live discussion. I want you all to talk about it. I want me to talk about it. Let's address some misconceptions. Maybe someone has a misconception and maybe one of your peers makes him right. They try to learn from each other's knowledge. And after that, what we will be doing is we will document these insights. We will take this recording link for instance, or maybe we'll write up a blog post about it. And all of you are contributing towards it. All of you are contributing towards an archive, towards this growing archive of explored technological questions. All of you are here to learn. And what you're contributing towards is this whole tech field. You're trying to answer questions. You're trying to question this technology. So this is how the platform is going to work. So what I'm doing right now is in the chat box, I'm sending a link for the WhatsApp community of One Good Answer, and I would like you all to join it. Is the message there, ma'am? Yeah, so I would even like you to join it, of course, because let's answer the questions which the youth has, right?
Yeah, let us know if you're all able to join it.
Okay, one member has joined. I want to see at least 5 members join. Come on, ma'am. Yep, we have two, three, four. Okay, that's a great response. Okay. Okay, now I've pasted the link in the chat box. Please join according to your own accordance. Okay, thank you, Danish. And now let's move forward. So let's go through what we will have in the live discussions every week. So what we are going to have is firstly, we'll clarify the question. Because first we need to understand what the question itself is. We can't just go on giving some baseless answers, right? First, we will establish a foundation of what the question actually is. We'll go into the depths of question. What does the question mean? And then comes the most important part here. It is breaking down a question. Now, it might be a very complex question, and we might have to divide it into smaller elements. We might have to make rooms for you, two people discussing on one small elements, and then it coming up. So breaking down a question is something which is taken up as a critical skill. Like even if you go for job interviews, they'll ask you a question which obviously has no good answer. It is not a question in itself. What they want to know is whether can you break down the question. Like when I was applying for my internship, I was asked a question that the room you're sitting in, how will you measure its volume if you are given the volume of a bee, a honeybee? Now the question itself does not have any meaning. But what they're trying to check is can you break down a problem? Now how will you break down this problem? You will first try to get the volume of a honeybee, and then you will get the whole volume of the cube, considering that the room is a cube. And then you will divide the volume of cube of the room with the volume of the honeybee. This is the answer. Of course, the question is meaningless. It has no meaning to it. It has no context to it. But what they want to see is can you break down a question? Do you have that critical thinking ability? So this is what we will try to foster in ourselves. And this is something which I want you all to do with yourselves as well. Can you break down a complex problem into much more smaller elements? Can you go to the depths of it? This is the most crucial part in any live discussion demonstration. Not just this one, but in any pitch deck maybe you go to. Can you break down a complex question? That is the question you want to ask to yourself. After that comes exploring. Now that you have divided into smaller elements, explore the small elements. Go into the depths of them. Try to satisfy your curiosity. And then comes sharing. Now have a discussion about it with your peers. Have a discussion about it with me. Let's try to encourage our audience. Let's try to get one discussion, a debate going on about these topics. And then finally, let's summarize it. We'll summarize it into key insights, into key takeaways, and then we all will write a blog post about it. We will post about it on maybe our socials. We will try to get as much attention as we can because trust me, people are on the look. They see what you're trying to post, they see what communities you're getting into, they see what questions you ask. So this is what we'll be seeing in live discussion demonstrations. So we have already done this part. We have joined the community. And apart from that, we will soon be launching the website for One Good Answer. And on that website, you can directly post the questions which you have and the blogs which I was talking about, the articles which we will be publishing, it will be on that website as well, so that you will be able to access all the questions, all the answers which we did, all the Zoom meetings. Maybe you missed out on one, so you'll be able to get that there. So the future of technology should not be built only by engineers, but by people who live with it. That is all of us. People who have curiosity, they all should be able to get the answer for the questions they have in all of their progresses. So I think I will be stopping here and the board is open, the panel is open for any questions which you all have. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so now let's get one question going for our next week's session, right? What is a question that you all have? What is a question which you always wondered about? So that for the next session, we will answer that. You can type it in the chat box. I mean, you can even speak it out. Anything works. Let's see what your response is on the same. Or you can even post it on the WhatsApp community which you have just joined.
You can also like think, yeah, yes, Sejal.
So recently, I was reading about this thing that the more information we search on ChatGPT and AI, the more information we request ChatGPT and AI to help us with, the more fresh water is being wasted. So maybe some reflections on that would be really helpful.
Environmental impact of AI, right?
Yes.
To sum it up. Okay, yeah, that can be a great topic, man. A good curiosity, very much of a good curiosity. So, of course, we'll tackle that in the next session. But I do have some insights about it right now if you want to discuss. So, there have been going some allegations regarding Elon Musk himself. So as he owns OpenAI, like he has Grok AI, right? Even Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, the CEO of OpenAI for that matter. So what's happening is to get that electricity, like as you said, fresh water is being wasted. Apart from that, what they are doing is they are planting methane plants. So by burning methane, they're trying to get energy through which they can power these millions of acres of the data centers. And the best part is they're illegally constructing these sites, these methane plants. They get a fine on it from the government for illegally making it and running it for these overloads. They are able to pay that fine and still profit. So they're okay with paying the price itself. So all in all, being a private agency, they don't really care about what is going on because, of course, a private agency focuses on profits. And now, when you think of it, sustainable development itself has become a myth. It has become a joke at this point because no government actually cares if sustainable development is happening or not, if it profits from it. I mean, the AI bubble right now is probably trillions of dollars. Nvidia has reached a valuation of $5 trillion. In what economy do we see $1 trillion? We are close to see a trillionaire at this point. So if this much capital, this much revenue runs through the world, I mean, it is pretty pointless to say that government really cares about sustainable development at this point. So yeah, that is one insight which I have on it. I mean, of course, a coin has two sides. AI has helped us a lot. But then again, what about the environment? What about the environment which we live in? I mean, they are able to like press charges on us for any other degradation of land or maybe cutting of forest. Even for the tribes, even though tribes have forests as their own home, have habitat, but things like this they go under it. I mean, even if you look on it, even the tobacco industry which we have now, tobacco industry is a $1 billion industry. Of course, we all know it is wrong. It should be illegal. I mean, consumption of tobacco, nicotine, any of it. It is injurious for our health. It should have serious relegations on it. But of course, as it is a $1 billion industry, the government will not do anything because all of it is for profitable business, right? So that is one underlying ground reality behind the scene of AI. And I think it is not just AI for that matter. And another impact which I think AI has had is it has killed the Indian market of jobs because Indian market for computer science was known because we were outsourcing ourselves, right? US companies used to hire us for very cheap rates and they were happy with it because we were available for very cheap rates. But now what we did was a very low skill job, like the mediocre families, what they did. And because of the upcoming of AI, obviously they have been fired. So all in all, the US capital has gotten stronger. Indian capital has gotten weaker. We have had rise of unemployment. I mean, there were debates that okay, AI might take jobs, but they'll produce new jobs. But that number matches nowhere. So if you think on a global scale, AI has been something of a degradation. But if you think of in a capitalistic way, it has been an upgrade. I mean, that's what you get if you if you climb a ladder too fast, you're going to have repercussions, right?
Also,
Thank you for
a lot
sharing.
of skills, yeah, a lot of skills also have been, like being replaced, like we don't know in the future if you're try, like 5 years ago, video editing, graphic designing was the thing. Everyone was
Exactly.
doing it and everyone has learned it from scratch. And now
Exactly.
AI is like able to do it in seconds.
I mean,
So
yeah,
it's important that we keep upskilling ourselves and, earlier
it
computer science students were into a lot of coding, learn all the codes, write them manually, but AI does that for you now. And in this era, there's, like there's no point of, putting so much efforts into coding, learning a new coding language. So it's important that we analyze what is going on around us and understand the trends. And, like in case if there's any skill that you want to learn it accordingly. Like the Divyesh has mentioned earlier, you can start putting, focus on quantum computing and things like that. Yeah. Anyone else want to, add to the discussion? We can, continue the discussion.
yeah, anyone. Yeah, maybe Danish, what are your thoughts on this? What do you agree with, disagree with?
No, I totally agree with you with this. The point that you mentioned that AI has automated many of the tasks, but on the same way, the new jobs or the replicate which needs to be produced that we have till now not seen in the market. For example, for the capitalist country or for the big companies, they do have done their automation part for sure, like on a very big scale. But the part like the one who are not into that, like the one who are not apart from that, so they need to have a replicate option, or they need to have a replicate new type of employment, new type of skill to do. But that currently we have not seen a lot much in this today era.
Yeah, right. I mean, that has been one of the biggest downside of artificial intelligence in our lives. Thank you, Sejal. Thank you for the compliment. Yeah, and another thing is that what we did for artificial intelligence is that we gave it unrestricted access to all of our lives, not just job market, but to everything. I mean, at one point, you will not even run to a therapist. You'll be chat GPTing your feelings itself. So that is something which, I mean, I'm pretty sure one of you all have done it. I mean, out of the 8 participants which you have, at least one would have done it. That maybe I'm feeling low, I need to be motivated. Can you give me some tips, something about it, right? So if you see in that way, human socialization has been reduced due to AI. So I think all of it boils down to the unrestricted access which have given it into our lives. So that is one of our problems as well, because a clap happens by two hands, not just by one. So that is something which we would like to improve in ourselves as well. And now, just like ma'am just mentioned, that coding has become something which is at this point useless. And I agree, because I have spent 3 years trying to learn programming languages, web development, software development, embedded systems. But right now they're all useless, man. Legit useless. Like if you go to any maybe and for even for an internship, if you go and you say that I'm a software developer, they'll say I've hired an AI agent. I've already paid 25,000 for subscription. What good will you do even if I pay you 25,000? Like how will you compete to that? Yes, Danish.
I just wanted to add one point. Like back ago 2 3 years ago, we have this like learn C programming language from the basic, learn C++, then go to Java, then go to DSA, then Python. But now it's like a fraction of seconds. You just need to
Exactly.
write 2 3 lines of command and just write the programming language name. The code will be there. Just you need is a logical thinking, which like you can build in 6 months or 7 months very easily. But earlier we have a roadmap of 6 months for C++, then Python, then Java. Now it has become like a totally diminished thing.
Yeah, I know. I've been through that, man. I've been searching for those videos, roadmap to C, roadmap to mastery of C, data structure algorithms in C, in Python, Ruby, lead code, hackathons.
What I have observed is like 2020, the lockdown era was a bubble era because it was like everything was on pandemic, and so there was a boom of web development and app
Yeah.
development. People were like doing web development, software development like a crazy amount. Everyone is learning React, backend, front end. After as soon as the lockdown opened, 2022 to 2023 something, a massive layoff has been seen in the web development. Then we saw a rise in app development. Then after 1 or 2 years, there was a downfall in the app development. Then game development come. Then we have a rise in graphic designing. But now it's like
Mhm.
Ghibli art. Anything can be done in just 2 3 seconds using the AI.
Exactly. I mean, I was accustomed to like seeing trend lines in the era of technology, right? I mean, I know, okay, when you have to constantly update yourselves in technology, but this was crazy. In 2 months, your job was gone. And it was not stopping at one point. Like 2 months graphic designer done, 2 months C++ done. I mean, at this point, even I myself don't code around. Even I am using AI agents at this point. And I think, yeah, programming language, that is something which have gone really bad right now. So a mitigation to it, like a solution to it, which I found myself when I was researching on this field for a lot, because of course, man, I'm still 16 years old. I want to do a career in computer science. So looking for it, I found that you could tackle this in two ways. You either go above the problem or you go under the problem. Now, the problem is that it is on a software level, right? Now, as long as it is on the software level, to see AI come into the hardware level is something I still believe will take years to still come into hardware routing, like copper assemblies and all. So you can either go into embedded systems which include like as I just mentioned, Internet of Things. You could design modules, sensors. Now, even the internship which I do right now is in embedded systems. So what it basically is you get a microcontroller. It is just like your CPU. However, it is like a credit card sized computer. And on that you program, and that program is really close to hardware. Like the C which we use, the programming language used on it is known as embedded C. So using embedded C, you can program that very small computer for your particular use case. And right now, what we were working on was we all know NDA, right? National Defense Academy. So they have their practice systems, like target practice systems, shooting drills. So in that they have this system in which when once it is hit, the target will go down, or on commands from a computer it will rotate, or maybe it will hide, it will show, it will run through a trolley. So my job in this in that project itself was to develop this software. Now I tried really many times to use AI because I was running into a lot of problems, a lot of errors. But frankly, AI could not do much here. Now, the reason being it is very close to hardware. You need to have that knowledge of both hardware and software to actually be able to think for yourself and to make up a command or make up a program for it. Radio frequency comes into it, noise comes into it. The microcontroller which you are using, each microcontroller has different language. Maybe you are using an STM32 board or an ETF board or an EC board. As the board changes, programming language is going to change. The language of then the serial ports are going to change. So this is known as going below the problem. That is going close to your hardware. Now, when you go this close to hardware, AI can hardly do something. Maybe it will help you with codes, or maybe it will help you with wiring and all, but you will be the last person to do all of this. So of course, now my internship is saved at least. And apart from that, you can either go above the problem. Now, what above the problem is, what I just mentioned before, is you can go 5 years into the future. Like I discussed right now, the people who has reaped the most out of this AI bubble, out of this AI technology, were people who were 5 years back thinking, okay, yes, artificial intelligence is going to be a boom. I need to start investing right now. So that is what you can do right now. You can research on what can be emerging technology. One of them being quantum technology. I mean, I myself am working in quantum technologies right now. I have a startup going on in it. Or maybe you can go into thermal computing. Thermal computing is something which is an alternative to quantum technologies. Or there are many more. You can go into biotechnology. Maybe you could be the next person to, like pair muscle growth with some kind of computer. Neuralink, we have one of the biggest examples. So you either go above the problem or you go under the problem. You either think 5 years into the future, or you go down right to the basics, right to the very fundamentals, right to the binary, the assembly of all these computers. You go near that metal scrap of computers as much as you can. So any more questions or any more discussions on this point? Anyone? Sejal, if you have any opinions on this, even Sakshi and Sanya.
No, I was, as you were speaking, I was just thinking that how AI is affecting our brains. Like this topic is all in trend. That you know how it is affecting our critical thinking and the
Mhm.
power to think and communicate. So I was just thinking about that
Oh
because
yeah, yeah, that.
programming and other thing requires a lot of thinking process,
Mhm.
because earlier a lot of coders used to write the codes and brainstorm on it, like you know how if I need a result like this, what are some of the trials and errors that they have to go through and then reach the final stage. But now within a second we have a solution, so that process of learning is getting affected.
Mhm. So yeah, that can be a great topic for opening a discussion. I mean, it has had impact on our brains. I mean, like, when was the last time you could see a 60 seconds reel? Like, I'm even talking about reels at this point. I'm not even talking about a long video. How many of you can see a reel of 60 seconds at this point? I can't. I frankly can't. I mean, I can like okay, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I get the hook. I get the point of the reel. I move forward. So yeah, one of the biggest problems there is I think attention span. One of the biggest problems AI have had is attention span. It has reduced our attention span. We no longer sit for it with hours because I think before AI, when I used to code even program, the answer for that one particular error used to come late at night when I was trying to sleep. Then it will click man, okay, yes, okay, I can solve it that way. And at this point, I don't get errors only, man. If I get an error, I'll just tell AI, fix that error. And I think because of that, even my skills have gotten really bad at this point. Like, I need to polish them a little bit. I mean, like, there is no longer a need for programming in itself. How many of you know Stack Overflow? Like the website Stack Overflow, if any of you were in programming or coding. Okay, so what Stack Overflow was is when you used to have any errors or problems in your code, it was our go-to website. Every coder's go-to website. You get an error, you'll go to Stack Overflow, you'll put in, and it is bound to have an answer. Because it was a open source community, like coders and programmers from all over the world used to help you out, used to answer, used to ask questions. That is what Stack Overflow was. And once the AI came, that website has literally gone down. No one even checks it up right now. No, it doesn't even crosses people's minds. And I'm pretty sure it was people's heartbeat at one point. Now no one really cares about it. You just ask the AI to okay, just fix it, and it will just fix it. So yeah, I think that has been one of the biggest problems which AI has given us is that we have lost our critical thinking ability. We have lost that ability to think, even just sit with a thought for 30 to 40 minutes and try to get a solution on it. And I think that has been deafening on it. What do you think about it?
And it's not completely, just the AI fault because it is us humans who have given the access, right? Like if you want some ideas, earlier we would sit and think for it. Maybe it might take a few days or weeks, but you come up with an idea. But now what happened? You open AI and then you just ask for ideas. You don't even think of it, right? You don't
I
even
mean,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
have even
it is,
outsourced creativity, man. At this point, we have outsourced creativity.
yeah. If this really like bothers me sometimes when you see new novels coming in or some new music or some new art. I start questioning, is this real? Is this really generated by the man, or was it some idea that the AI has given and then that was done? So you don't know what is real anymore, and yeah,
Yeah,
people
what
are
is fake?
losing their creativity and thinking skills.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is really crucial point here. Because I mean, I just can't with it. Why? You're legit trying to outsource creativity itself. I mean, pretty
Yeah.
sure for school projects we used to sit with our moms for hours, trying to find out maybe okay for this science experiment we are watching this YouTube video, we are trying to get something out of it, but the experiment is failing badly. That is another part. But okay, at least we are trying. No, we are searching for thousands of videos, maybe some Google link. But right now it has gotten very straightforward. I mean, you just put a chat GPT prompt, it'll give you two options. You choose one, you don't even bother to look the second one. You take the first one, you put in, you ask for steps, you do the steps. I mean, I think we have limited our creativity, not just creativity, of thinking capability in itself. We don't even think at this point that okay, there are more options than these two options. Or anyone will be going to do chat GPT, they're going to get the same answer. We might get a clash of two projects being same. At least our ma'am will find that out. We should take some efforts. I think that is one of the biggest problem which we face right now is that we have just gone bad with the ability of thinking.
And sometimes we rely so much on AI that even for facts, even for news, we know that it could be wrong, but still we go over there and keep searching. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes if we like maybe try, I think we can come up with better ideas than AI sometimes. Sometimes I feel like AI's ideas are like really dumb. They don't really make sense, like when you actually look at things. I think, like we as humans should, only when it is, very necessary, not to write emails, not to send messages also, right?
I mean, yeah, so the technical word for what you just referred to is known as hallucinations, right? So yeah, AIs do hallucinate. No, it is a very technical term. So what happens is the context which you give to your AI or the inputs on which it has been trained. So we all know it can't think for itself. It just thinks on what was given. Now we are able to have this ability to think because we can reproduce thoughts through anything. We can get two completely opposite structures or maybe functions, and then we'll try to find a common link because that is human brain. It is finding patterns. That's what we are good at evolutionarily. But AI can't do that. It works on a specific structure. So yes, it produced very bland ideas, and sometimes ideas are not gonna make sense. That happens with me a lot of times. That's why you need to innovate it a bit, or maybe give a clear prompt for it. That's why we have this job of prompt engineering as well, right? So that is one point. And of course, man, of course, we are better than AI at some fields, of course, creativity at least. And that is because we created AI, right? The very underlying point here is AI is nothing but some scrap of metals lying in some data servers. It has not been given consciousness. We have consciousness. That is the biggest difference between the both of us. It does not have any justifications. It does not know right, wrong. All it knows is trying to produce an output given on the following data. So yeah, of course we are going to outgrow it in some particular cases, but in cases like programming, maybe critical thinking or research, it will outperform us. But I think it is to be used supplementary as a tool and not something to make the whole of your life out of. But then again, now from MBA, the shift of employment has now reached to computer science engineering. Now people are thinking two times whether to take this job, whether to take this technological field, or we are just going to study for 4 years and then get replaced by Claudia. So that is one question you should really think about if you are trying to get into technical field. And another point to be for discussion can be at this point, technology is going to have an overlap with every field, creativity, humanities, law, every field it is going to have an overlap. So you just can't run away from it. You can't run away from AI for that matter, or even from technology for that matter. It is going to have an overlap. You are going to have to learn it. You can't be old fashioned anymore. So having this awareness of what is happening around you at least is important. So what are your thoughts on this, ma'am, or even Sejal? And Sakshi Sania, you have been quite for a long time and speak something up.
Okay, your opinions or your thoughts that doesn't have to be. There's nothing like wrong or right only. So
Hmm.
it's just our thoughts.
I mean, yeah, of course, that can be one point for it as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with, every field, having with an intervention with AI and technology because I've been taking a course and it's like complete it's there's no need for like technology to be involved in it,
Mm-hmm.
but I still have to do a lot of AI and like learning some AI things, and it is necessary because you never know what's gonna happen. You never know, like the demands may change in the future.
Change.
So every field has a demand of AI right now. If you are able to master AI, you know how to use it properly, you know how to give a good prompt, and you know how to get the answers, there's a chance of employment there as well.
Yeah, I mean that course goes here as well, right? You like the some as Sam Altman himself said, AI will not replace you. A person who is good with AI is going to replace you. So I think we should try to be that person who is good with AI himself. And then again, it's going to be a rat race of people who know good AI. It's going to go on like this for quite a while. But I'm pretty sure, like I have this prediction that okay, AI bubble is going to pop at once because there's this saying, right? The quicker you climb a ladder, the quicker you're going to fall, the quicker you're bound to fall. Structured growth is concrete growth. This quick rise, this sudden increment, it is going to have repercussions as well. And one of the biggest fears I have in AI and technology is its integration in defense. Defense and military, like we have Iran war going on. I mean, there was a recent article finding going as well that Anthropic, which whose product is Claude AI, Anthropic denied US military to use their AI tools for finding new terms like new weapons, and US government banned them. Like they withdrew a $200 million deal with them just because they did not allow their AI to be used for finding new means of weapons. I mean, morally, if you see right here, Anthropic is right. Capitalistically, you see Anthropic is wrong. There's no right and wrong here. But if you're trying to make some new weapons of mass destruction, I mean, pretty sure atom bomb is right enough, man. It is enough. Biochemical weapons are enough. So why go on with this? I mean, are we moving really towards progress or just destruction of ourselves? What are we trying to create right here?
I know, right? There's so much happening. And what do you think about cybersecurity and AI? Do you think like is it being used already, or it's
Yeah.
already in use? Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
So,
that's
I mean, quick insight in the Iran war itself. We all know like Khamenei died, right? The supreme leader of Iran. So what happened was they had complete control over the communication systems of Iran, and it was Israel's work. Now Israel has a really good information team. Like we all know it. I mean, the pager attack which happened behind, even the pager attack for that matter. So, what AI specifically being used for in cybersecurity terms, if you go into it, like I've been a cybersecurity researcher as well. So, in my findings myself, I have found that AI is not what completely like AI is used for two main things, like in three, like two main ways. Firstly, being so there are two terms in cybersecurity. First one is how you attack, and the second one is how you defend. It is known as red hat, and then it is known as white hat. So, red hat is basically you're going to attack, you're going to find threats, you're going to target it. So when you go into red hat hacking, what AI through is used is they'll try to scan your whole network. It is known as nmap scan, scanning the whole network, finding vulnerabilities. Now imagine you have millions and billions of data of hacked targets already. Your AI has been trained on it. Even a small hint of threat, you find okay, there is a small opening. It is going to identify it very well, pretty well. If there is not even a zero chance, then maybe social engineering can be done. You can go through one employee, you can contact him, you can socially hack him, and then socially putting pressure onto him, you can get into the systems as well. And that is what happened. So in the presidential elections of 2016, when Trump won, so one of the biggest things which happened after that election was that files were released showcasing that Trump won illegally. And the point there was Russian president at that time, like even at right now, is Vladimir Putin. So Putin was on bad terms with Trump's rival. I don't remember her name, but she had tarnished his image globally. So he was really against her. So what the Russians did, they had three hacker teams. I mean, the one of the hacker teams was caught, but then it was they were released, of course, because they were Russians and they were found in USA. They had to return. But what they did was social engineering attack. I mean, how can you get into the Congress head's laptop? How is that possible? They will be having millions and billions of dollars spent on security. So I think cybersecurity biggest misconception being you are hacking a computer. No, you're not hacking a computer. You hack a person. You socialize with a person, you try to get his vulnerability. As soon as you feed that vulnerability to your attacking AI, it's going to understand, okay, this pattern was found 342 times maybe in previous attacks. We can take a guarantee of 80% that this attack is going to work. I mean, what else do you need? More than 50% guarantee, you're going to take your shots. And even when you go for defensive side becomes blue hat hacking. So in blue hat hacking, when you go on defensive sides, you see particularly that okay, yeah, attacks have been happened this many times on this many paywalls or maybe firewalls. So when you think on that view, then you okay, we can put in this firewall. It will help us. So all in all, it becomes a 50-50. But yeah, there have been instances in cybersecurity and AI was used altogether, and it is a new emerging field as well in technology. People are now using AI and cybersecurity to create something which is far worse. And biggest problem which has happened right now is malware development. You have this virus and trojans, right? This virus development, it has become really really easy because you have now AI to write code. You take a AI, you get it offline, you maybe rent a server, Now, as you own the property, you're not under the legal restrictions to not prepare a bad code. You will just hallucinate the AI. Now here comes AI as another downside. You will just tell it that okay, we are trying to prank our friend, so we need to have this malware. It's going to think it is for good intent, but a bad product. It will still pass. However, if you tell it that okay, I'm going to hack this person, of course it will not produce it. But this is how you are bypassing an AI through just one simple misclear instruction, right? Now, if you tell this to a person, he's going to recognize that okay, he's bullshitting me. But AI does not really care. It will just produce that code. And now, as malware development has been become this much easy, hacking attempts, phishing mails, they have gone increasingly very much. So that is one insight in cybersecurity and AI.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and even there's one YouTube video as well. Okay, on how 2016 presidential elections were
Hmm.
tarnished with. That is a really well documented documentary. Wait, I'll just put in that link right now. Like it is
Yeah.
animated and all, so it is really something which you can like have food for thought maybe for today's dinner if you don't have anything to watch. You can watch that. Just a minute, I'll just put the link here. Yeah, I've put that link in the chat box. You all can watch it if you want. I will put it in the WhatsApp community. So
Yeah,
that is
I think
something you
that
can
would be
look into.
yes. Mm.
Yeah, I'll just put it right now. Wait. So like that is one video which you can watch maybe for today's dinner. Like it is really good and it is of course it is animated so you'll not be bored as well.
So everyone make use of the WhatsApp community. Do put in your thoughts there. If you have any sort of questions, you can put over there, and if someone wants to answer, they can answer. If you don't want
Yes,
to
we
type,
can
you
do
can
that.
even
Yeah.
send voice messages. That would be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. It was an amazing session, Divyesh. Thank you so much. It was very insightful. Even
Thank you
I
so much,
enjoyed
ma'am.
it a lot.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. Thank you so much, Anya. It was
Thank
great
you.
having a discussion with you all.
Yes.
So much. Even though,
Thank you,
know,
everyone.
like we had very less information about AI. That's why I couldn't able to answer maybe. But yes, please. The session was very insightful and got to learn things. Thank you so much.
I mean, yeah, that is the point of it. And as you just said, you were not really insightful on these topics. Just put in a question on the WhatsApp community. I'll be happy to answer. Okay, I think,
Amazing,
yeah,
everyone.
we'll wrap it up. Okay, ma'am?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much, guys.
Devesh.
Thank you, ma'am. Have
Yeah,
a good day.
you too. Bye bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everyone.